Welcome to Tyler Donner's May 2011 Financial Highlights Report. This is Mike Salmon, your Director of Finance and Accounting, and thank you for listening and viewing this presentation. So first we'll talk about the month of May itself, and we had operating results of revenue of $232,000 with a budget operating revenue budget of $272,000. This difference is due This difference here between the blue bar and the red bar are due to primarily to the golf course not opening in the month of May. It did not open in May last year either, and so that drives the primary reason for the difference. The increase from this year versus last year was due to the lodge's performance primarily. In expenses, they too were below budget and below last year, and net operating results were favorable to budget and favorable to last year. As I mentioned, revenue of $232,000 for the month was 15% or $40,000 off budget. It was primarily driven by this golf variance of $34,000. The lodge had a super month. They had one large banquet, and pub and dining business was strong, which has been a trend for almost 2 years now. Tennis was off due to the weather. Obviously golf was off due to weather as well. Marina and trout were basically on budget. Pizza struggled. They were didn't struggle, they were closed for the month, so they were not able to operate. The kitchen received a significant improvement that will allow us to offer additional products as well as improve the consistency and quality of the product presented at pizza. The HOA was off a little bit. We planned to sell out in RV boat storage, and we did not. So if you know someone or yourself that needs to store a boat or RV or other vehicle, we have a place and we have space for sale. Expenses for the month of $910,000 or $80,000 favorable or 8% to budget, and $24,000 or 3% favorable to prior year. A lot of this in forestry and golf is going to be timing. Just the weather delayed everything, and we'll be over in upcoming months of the summer that will offset these favorable savings. The majority of this campground is real savings, and equestrian savings is real as well. They just simply didn't operate, and therefore there was savings. Payroll burden is real savings where we didn't incur payroll, so therefore we didn't have payroll taxes or workers' comp costs associated with it. And this $80,000 favorable in expenses includes $100,000 in incentive accrual, which is the max for the summer season incentive accrual period, and in essence creates an expense contingency of $180,000 prior to that accrual. So NOR, net operating result loss of $678,000 was $40,000 or 6% favorable to budget, and $40,000 or 6% favorable to prior year. Factoring out the incentive accrual for the period, the loss was $578,000, which was $140,000 or 19% favorable to budget, and $68,000 or 11% favorable to prior year. So with the delay of things in May, it actually turns out to be a net savings when you're not operating in what was going to be a slow month anyway. A shoulder season month like May, and you're not open, you actually save money by being closed, is a big part of the story in the month of May. Year to date, revenues of $3.9 million are ahead of budget and last year. Expenses are also running higher than last year and budget. So on the expense side, the drivers are primarily fuel cost as well as the weather impacts. with snow removal and other costs, additional grooming, labor, things like that. Net operating results, the net is 40 grand favorable to budget and slightly off last year. Here are those variances year to date. And since we're doing the May report in mid to late June, here is what we know about June so far. We know that revenues are well behind budget expectations. That's due to the delay in opening the golf course. And then payroll is running favorable, about 38,000. Right now, this was as of May 15th. I can tell you that now, a little bit later in the month, we're closer to 100,000 net off between revenues 130 and favorable 30 in payroll. Gives us a net of 100,000 unfavorable to in June to budget through the 23rd. So we'll definitely not meet budget results in June, and so some of that incentive accrual will offset that negative result, and probably put us right back at budget summer to date and for the year. A couple other notables in the financials. Assessment receivables are at 2.5%, which is below industry averages and actually quite strong, or a favorable percentage compared to industry averages that can be upwards of 10% or even more the last few years. Rec passes, about 50% of our members' units purchase the rec pass, and we're up 2% as of last year at the same time. And I'd be remiss with not pointing out the lodges visitation. Year to date, 14,000 covers, up 12% to last year, up 44% to 2009, and a similar percentage to 2008. So the lodge is continuing to prove a valuable asset and for our members. Keynote also in the financials is the development fund balance. As of May 31st, there's $4.1 million in building replacement designated, $3.3 million in RAE funds, recreation amenities expansion restricted, and $1 million in regular development fund, for a total of $8.4 million as of May 31st. The detailed financial report is found on the website, and the annual, as well as the annual report for 2010 and the 2011 detailed budget report. Thank you for taking the time to view this presentation, and give us a call anytime or send an email if you would like to have any questions. I can be reached at 530-587-9418, and email is msalmon@tahoedonner.com. Thank you and have a great day.